Good morning. The June 14th, 2021 virtual meeting of the Anne Arundel County Council is now in session. Happy Strike Budget Day and Happy Flag Day. Today we will wrap up deliberations on the FY22 proposed budget for Anne Arundel County and vote on all of the budget bills. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Rodvian.
Present.
Ms. Hare.
Present.
Ms. Pickard.
Present.
Mr. Volke.
Present.
Mr. Pruski.
Here.
Ms. Fiedler.
Present.
Ms. Lacey.
Present.
Ms. Bolair.
Present.
Madam Chair, all 7 council members and our county auditor are present.
Thank you. Please pause for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Ms. Hare.
My apologies, Madam Chair. It was my understanding that Councilwoman Rodvian was leading the invocation today, so let me just pull mine up really quickly. Okay. Let us be thankful for this day that we have been given, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us to the best of our abilities through collaboration and kindness. Let us seek strength and guidance for each day's duties and problems and be challenged to give our best always together. Now for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Hare. Madam Secretary, please read the Open Meetings Act statement.
The Maryland Open Meetings Act is a state law that requires public meetings to be open to the public and to be held in places reasonably accessible to individuals who would like to attend these meetings. The virtual format of this meeting of the County Council is due to the COVID-19 pandemic and is necessary in light of the serious health risks associated with public gatherings. While a virtual meeting of this type was not envisioned by the Open Meetings Act, steps have been taken to ensure that this virtual meeting includes alternate accessibility features that the Open Meetings Act Compliance Board and the courts have reviewed and approved, such as having a call-in phone number that allows anyone with a telephone to call and listen to the meeting, broadcasting the meeting with video and audio on cable TV and the web, allowing written comments from the public to be submitted and considered by the council ahead of time, and allowing the public to call in via Zoom and testify live. The public access provided by this technology makes this virtual meeting reasonably accessible to the public as required by the Open Meetings Act. In addition, this technology satisfies the intent of the rules of procedure of the County Council that apply to meetings, and they do not need to be waived in order for this virtual meeting to be held.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the ethics statement.
The Ethics Commission has asked that I advise you that under certain circumstances, members of the public may qualify as lobbyists when they testify before the County Council. If so, the law requires that certain information be filed with the Ethics Commission. The chair of the Ethics Commission has asked that those who wish to testify in any form review the general information on lobbying sheet located on the ethics website under forms and publications. If there are any questions about lobbying requirements, please contact the Ethics Commission at 410-222-4413.
Thank you. Is there any item any council member would like to place on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll now open the public hearing on the county executive's proposed supplemental amendments to the FY22 budget. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony from any members of the public?
Madam Chair, we did not receive any specific submissions on the supplemental amendments proposed. I did want to just make a note, since we're closing out the record here today. To date, we have received 8 testimony submissions either through the online tool, the Dropbox, or mail.
Thank you. We do not have anyone signed up to testify on the proposed supplemental amendments this morning. The public hearing on the proposed supplemental amendments to the FY22 budget is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 3221.
Bill number 3221, an ordinance concerning adopting, excuse me, there is something missing from the title here. I'm just going to read the first few lines. An ordinance concerning adopting the county budget consisting of the current expense budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Madam Secretary, we did not do our usual preliminary motion. I thought that might be on purpose, but if you, if it would be easier to make the preliminary motion, we can go through that. You're muted.
We do need that preliminary motion. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to grab another script that I have here. Okay, you just need to ask for a motion that the partial reading of any bill, resolution, or amendment constitutes the reading of the whole.
Allison Pickard, so moved. Rodvian, second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Madam Secretary, please try again with the title of Bill number 2221.
Bill number 3221, an ordinance concerning adopting the county budget consisting of the current expense budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Mr. Trumbauer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. Good morning, everyone. Happy Flag Day. So last week we submitted our supplemental budget amendments. We've been working with auditor staff and council staff to double check all of those. I think you have had time to review, and so we are prepared for council to vote and ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, may I have a motion to vote on amendment numbers 106 through 146 as a block?
Councilman Rodvian, so moved.
Councilman Pruski, second.
Does anyone wish to pull out any amendments or object to all those amendments being in one block? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on the motion to vote on amendment numbers 106 through 146 as a block.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion to vote on amendment numbers 106 through 146 is adopted.
Mr. Trumbauer, would you like to speak to any of these amendments or, and then any other sponsors after him?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. At this point, I think I'll entertain any questions about specific amendments, but I believe they're all fairly well described in the supplemental letter that you received, and so I'll just be here for questions as needed.
And are there any questions from Mr. Trumbauer? It appears not. And were there any other sponsors or co-sponsors of any of those amendments who want to say anything about them? Hearing none. Let's see. Okay. I think we've gotten all the discussion we're apparently going to get. So, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendments numbers 106 through 146.
Madam Chair, I think we should read the amendments in.
Oh, please. Yes, of course.
Okay, here they are. Amendment number 106. This amendment adds environmental sanitarian 1 position to the Department of Health and increases personal services by $55,100 for the new position. Amendment number 107. This amendment increases contractual services by $250,000 for a geographic information systems professional services contract to support Board of Elections redistricting following the completion of the United States Census. Amendment number 108. This amendment adds 2 Deputy Sheriff 1 positions to the Office of the Sheriff, increases personal services by $53,800, which is the net effect of decreasing by $68,000 to correct a calculation error, and increasing by $121,800 for new positions, and increases supplies and materials by $15,800 for costs related to the new positions. Amendment number 109. This amendment increases grants, contributions, and other by $74,000 for the county match portion of 2 grants. Amendment number 110. This amendment adds 1 police officer position to the police department, increases personal services by $64,200, and supplies and materials by $10,000 for new police officer position and related costs. Increases capital outlay by $104,400, which is the net effect of increasing by $74,400 for costs related to the new police officer position, and increasing by $30,000 for mobile data, computer, and e-TICS purchases. Decreases contractual services by $100,000 for non-Centrix phone service, and creates a new community services bureau with a total appropriation of $15,328,100 by realigning $15,117,200 from Patrol Services Bureau and $210,900 from the Admin Services Bureau. Amendment number 111. This amendment decreases the general fund appropriation for the Department of Public Libraries by $46,100 to correct a personal services calculation for the Federal Insurance Contributions Act, or FICA. Amendment number 112. This amendment increases grants, contributions, and other by $13,809,300 for the recognition of additional grant funding. Amendment number 113. This amendment increases the appropriation in the Grant Special Revenue Fund by $2,579,400, which is the net effect of decreasing by $181,000 in personal services for the Circuit Court to correct the amount budgeted for pension, and increasing by $2,760,400 to add new grants in the Department of Aging, Fire Department, and Health Department, and realigns $2,147,800 in grant funding from contractual services to grants, contributions, and other in the Department of Recreation and Parks. Amendment number 114. This amendment increases instructional salaries and wages by $3,728,900, which is the net effect of increasing by $3,100,500 in restricted funding based on the approved state of Maryland budget, increasing by $517,500. I cannot read numbers this morning. $517,500 in general funds to add 9 teachers to reduce class size, and increasing by $110,900 in general funds to increase teacher salaries. Increases textbooks and classroom supplies by $950,400, which is the net effect of increasing by $1,023,700 in restricted to add 9 teachers to reduce class sizes, and decreasing by $110,900 in general funds to decrease teacher supplies. Increasing other instructional costs by $165,000, which is the net effect of increasing by $162,300 in restricted funding based on the approved state of Maryland budget, and increasing by $2,700 in general funds to add 9 teachers to reduce class sizes. Increases pupil services by $264,600 in restricted funding based on the approved state of Maryland budget, increases operation of plant by $722,000 in restricted funding based on the approved state of Maryland budget, and increases fixed charges by $664,500, which is the net effect of increasing by $494,500 in restricted funding based on the approved state of Maryland budget, and increasing by $170,000 in general funds to add 9 teachers to reduce class sizes. Amendment number 115. This amendment increases the appropriation for the Crofton Special Community Benefit District by $240,535 to include a loan payment that will become due in FY22. Amendment number 116. This amendment adds 1 program specialist 2 position and eliminates 1 management assistant 2 position in the Department of Detention Facilities. This amendment makes amendment number 117, excuse me. This amendment makes a technical correction to section references. Amendment number 118, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $466,000 for the additional salt storage capacity project due to increased cost estimates for lumber. Amendment number 119, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general fund PAYGO by $75,000 for completion of the Defenders Memorial Project. Amendment number 120, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $250,000 for school sidewalks. Amendment number 121, capital program. This amendment increases general county bonds by $250,000 for school sidewalks each year in FY23, FY24, FY25, FY26, and FY27. Amendment number 122, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $900,000 and increases FY22 interagency committee funding by $2,593,000 for the Board of Education all-day kindergarten and pre-kindergarten project. Amendment number 123, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 funding by a total of $2,300,000 for athletic stadium improvements, including increasing FY22 other state grants by $100,000 to correct a grant amount, increasing FY22 video lottery impact aid by $1,100,000 for the Joe Cannon turf field, and increasing FY22 general county bonds by $1,100,000. Amendment number 124, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 funding by a total of $3,277,000 for building systems renov, including increasing FY22 interagency committee funding by $2,277,000 and increasing FY22 general county bonds by $1 million to provide a county match. Amendment number 125, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $500,000 for the Board of Education driveway and parking lot project. Amendment number 126, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $2,600,000 for the Board of Education maintenance backlog project. Amendment number 127, capital budget. This amendment switches funding for Old Mill West High School by decreasing FY22 general fund PAYGO by $1,300,000 and increasing FY22 impact fees by $1,300,000. Amendment number 128, capital budget. This amendment switches funding sources for relocatable classrooms by decreasing FY22 general fund PAYGO by $180,000 and increasing FY22 impact fees by $180,000. Amendment number 129, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $500,000 for the Board of Education roof replacement project. Amendment number 130, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $1,500,000 for the Board of Education security-related upgrades project. Amendment number 131, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $300,000 for the Board of Education upgrade various schools project. Amendment number 132, capital budget. This amendment switches funding sources by reducing FY22 PPI fund bonds by $738,000 and increasing FY22 impact fees by $738,000. Amendment number 133, capital program. This amendment reduces FY25 PPI fund bonds by $1,353,000 due to a corrected construction cost estimate and switches funding sources for Duval Alley access improvements by reducing FY23 PPI fund bonds by $369,000, FY24 PPI fund bonds by $853,000, and FY25 PPI fund bonds by $4,937,000, and increasing FY23 impact fees by $369,000, FY24 impact fees by $853,000, and FY25 impact fees by $3,584,000. Amendment number 134, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 community college pay-go by $2,850,000 for Innovation Center on the 4th floor of the Florestano building at Arundel Community College. Amendment number 135, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general fund pay-go by $1,400,000 for Arundel Community College replacement and repair of information technology infrastructure. Amendment number 136, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 other state grants by $1 million for the Riviera Beach Community Library. Amendment number 137, prior council approval. This amendment decreases prior approved general county bonds by $1 million for the Riviera Beach Community Library, which is replaced with an FY22 state grant. Amendment number 138, capital budget. This amendment switches funding sources for the Fort Smallwood Park project by reducing FY22 general county bonds by $723,700 and increasing FY22 POS development by $723,700. Amendment number 139, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 funding by a total of $574,300 for greenways, parkland, and open space, including increasing FY22 POS development by $723,700 and decreasing FY22 general county bonds by $149,400. Also, I just want to say if I mispronounced Duval Highway, I understand it should be Duval. My apologies to District 3. Amendment number 140, capital budget. This amendment switches funding sources for the Jug Bay Environmental Education Center by decreasing FY22 general county bonds by $49,000 and increasing FY22 other state grants by $49,000 due to additional grant funding. Amendment number 141, capital budget. This amendment decreases FY22 video lottery aid by $1,100,000 for the Northwest area park improvements to reallocate funds to a Board of Education project for the Joe Cannon turf field. Amendment number 142, prior council approval. This amendment modifies a decrease of prior approved general county bonds by $14,000 for the South Glen Burnie Fire Station. Amendment number 143, prior council approval. This amendment decreases prior approved other state grants for the Ralph Bunch Community Center by $50,000 to correct the grant amount. Amendment number 144, capital budget. This amendment increases FY22 general county bonds by $3,945,000 for the West County Elementary School. Amendment number 145, capital program. This amendment decreases FY24 general county bonds for West County Elementary School by $4,779,000. Amendment number 146, capital program. This amendment increases FY23 PPI fund bonds by $8,434,000 for the transportation placeholder due to the removal of PPI fund bonds from the following capital projects: Duval Outing Access Improvement, Oakwood Old Mill Boulevard Roundabout, Route 2 improvements, and Route 3 improvements. Madam Chair, that concludes the amendments.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Allison Pickard.
A second?
Second, Rodvian.
Thank you both. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Pickard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I just wanted to add myself as a co-sponsor to Amendment 120 and 121, sort of symbolically. I want to thank the administration for working with me to increase the funding for sidewalk connectivity in the CIP going forward in the next 6 years. So thank you.
Anyone else? Last chance. Seeing, hearing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment numbers 106 through 146.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment numbers 106 through 146 are adopted.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Auditor, do we need to take a short break to confirm any dollar amounts?
Yeah, Michelle Belair, County Auditor, that would be great. It's the amount of time for our teams to confirm with the budget office and then what the administrative officer needs to get the amendments out to everyone. But we're close, so I think they're connecting right now.
Okay, is 15 minutes enough?
I think that sounds good on my end. Laura, is that good for you guys?
Yeah, I think we need at least 10 minutes to get things prepared and shared. So 15 will work just fine.
Okay, may I have a motion to recess until 9:45 to allow for the preparation of the final budget amendments?
So moved, Allison Pickard.
Second, Councilman Persky.
Thank you both. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. See you back at 9:45. Madam Secretary,
Yes, Madam Chair.
then do we stand ready to reconvene?
We are ready to go. I just want to make sure that everyone here has had a chance to look at the amendments. I believe Ms. Schultz is going to email them to you as well, but if the council is ready to proceed, I am ready to call the roll again.
Does anyone need more time right now to review the 4 amendments before we proceed? It looks like we're ready to roll, Madam Secretary. You're muted again.
Okey-doke, I'm so sorry. Ms. Rodvian,
Present.
Ms. Hare,
Present.
Ms. Pickard,
Present.
Mr. Volkey,
Present.
Mr. Pruski,
Still here.
Ms. Fiedler,
Present.
Ms. Lacy,
Present.
Ms. Bolair.
Present.
Madam Chair, we still have all 7 council members and our county auditor in attendance.
Excellent. The June 14th, 2021 meeting of the Anne Arundel County Council is now reconvened. We have some balancing amendments. It is my understanding that we should go over these individually and not block them. Thankfully, there are only 4. So the first one is amendment number 147. Madam Secretary, please read that amendment.
Amendment number 147. This amendment decreases contractual services by $145,000 for consultants to eliminate duplicate funds for expenses related to costs and fees for annual bond sale activity, and decreases grants, contributions, and other by $3,573,000 to reflect the updated general fund pay-go funding in the capital budget.
Mr. Trumbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. So this amendment just recognizes the actions that the council has taken. The substantive part of this is recognizing the pay-go funding swap out that you all did during amendment.
You faded out there. We can't.
Sorry, the substantive action of this amendment is recognizing the decrease in pay-go from the funding swap that the council voted on Amendment Day. So we ask for your favorable consideration. This is just the overall balancing for the pay-go.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Allison Pickard.
And a second?
Rodvian, second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 147.
Ms. Radvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 147 is adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 148.
Amendment number 148. This amendment decreases grants, contributions, and other by $500,000 to reflect the updated water and wastewater operating fund pay-go funding in the capital budget.
Mr. Trumbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As advertised, the description pretty much said it. This does the same thing. It just reconciles based on pay-go, but it's for the water and wastewater utility fund.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Allison Pickard.
And a second?
Rodvian, second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 148.
Ms. Radvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 148 is adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 149.
Amendment number 149 reduces the amounts appropriated by $12,654,800 from the impact fee fund to correspond with the impact fee amounts shown as revenue in the capital project fund.
Mr. Trumbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. So this one was a doozy, and I'd like to thank my budget staff and Michelle's staff at the auditor's office for getting all this right. But it's just a reconciliation of all the impact fee maneuvers that we did. And it turned out to take a little bit more effort than I think we expected, but my understanding is that it is correct and will recognize the current state of play. So I urge your favorable consideration.
Ms. Hare?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jessica Hare, District 7. I just want to make sure all of those supplemental amendments where we were switching out the funding source from the general county bonds or whatever the funding source was to the impact fee money. This amendment now corrects those top line numbers on the impact fees.
Yeah, yes, Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. That's the intention of this amendment. I believe Madam Auditor would concur, but it'd be good if you have both sides of the House agree to that question.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Michelle Bowler, County Auditor. I just wanted to second that. It also corrected some debt service items that were missing. So there's a lot happening there, but in general, it's just a true up.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Allison Pickard.
And a second?
Rodvian, second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 149.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 149 is adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 150.
Amendment number 150. This amendment decreases contractual services by $145,000 for consultants to eliminate duplicate funds for expenses related to costs and fees for annual bond sale activity, decreases grants, contributions, and other by $3,435,700 to reflect the updated general fund pay-go funding in the capital budget, and increases contribution to the revenue reserve fund by $3,435,700.
This amendment is sponsored by Ms. Fiedler and Ms. Hare. Ms. Fiedler, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Fiedler, District 5. I think the summary is pretty self-explanatory. Puts the balance into the Revenue Reserve Fund.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Hare, so moved.
And a second?
Fiedler, second.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Schoenbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Schremeyer, Budget Officer. So whether to put this in the rainy day fund or not is obviously a policy decision for the council. The administration is comfortable with the existing contribution, which is $11 million. We all things being equal, I think we preferred the flexibility of the pay-go remaining as unappropriated fund balance. But my staff is telling me that there may be an error in the amount. I think it references $3,435,000, and I don't believe that incorporates the amendment that just passed. So for this amendment to be correct, my team is saying that it would either reduce the amount that is going to the rainy day fund or increase the pay-go cut that it's taking. Otherwise, the budget would be technically unbalanced, I think. But that's only an issue if you pass the amendment.
Ms. Pickard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Allison Pickard, District 2. I appreciate the thought of the sponsors, but we're already putting $11 million into the reserve fund this year, which is more than brings the total of the last 3 budgets to nearly $18 million, which we haven't seen that kind of investment into the rainy day fund in a long time. So while which will also bring us to about a $96 million total in the rainy day fund, which is also incredibly high. We haven't seen that amount of money in the rainy day fund for many, many, many years. While we also then, if it falls to pay-go for next year, we can invest whatever the remaining balance is. I don't want to get into numbers, but something around the total of $3 million towards our CIP, towards our capital improvement program. It would increase our pay-go for next year. So I would, that's the way I'll be voting today. I think that is fiscally responsible, just in a different direction. So thank you.
Ms. Hare?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jessica Hare, District 7. I just wanted to say when Madam Auditor reached out to say, hey, you have these options, right? This money will fall to fund balance if you don't do something else with it. When considering a budget that's nearly $1.9 billion, $96 million obviously is a lot of money, but in the context of a $1.9 billion budget, it's not that much, and it doesn't allow for that big of a miss. And in any given year, you really could have a miss that's at least that big, and we could wipe out the rainy day fund in one fell swoop. And so, for me personally, it is very important that we maximize our savings as a county so that we are not looking to the taxpayers in any future year when there's a budget miss, a revenue miss, and that we're not looking to them to add fees or taxes to their already heavy burden. So for me, it's very important that we put this money in the rainy day fund. I'd ask for your support on that basis. If Madam Auditor wanted to comment on the numbers piece, I'm not sure what Mr. Trumbauer was referring to, but if you had any insight into that numbers piece, that would be helpful. Thanks.
Sure, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Michelle Belair, County Auditor. It sounds like the amount that was sent to the rainy day fund is correct. It's just that the PAYGO piece would need to be corrected to reflect the balancing that just happened. Those two are different amounts.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Trumbauer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think maybe the thing to do, if you want to vote the amendment, if the amendment were to pass, then we could take another quick break and we could straighten out that amount pretty quickly. If the amendment fails, there's obviously no more action needed.
Oh, Ms. Rodvian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lisa Rodvian, District 6. I actually think, if we look at our most recent experience in the economic downturn that we faced during the COVID-19 pandemic, we didn't actually even have to touch our rainy day fund. So not to say that that's an impossibility or that would never happen, but I think the current balance leaves us more than enough for possible contingencies in the future. It's already increased or improved our bond rating, if I'm not mistaken. And adding more to it actually locks away money that we could use for projects in the future. It's sort of, in a way, it's like imagining you have a savings account where you've been very diligent in saving and you've put a lot away, and then saying, well, rather than make an investment in replacing a roof that I need to on my house, I'm going to continue to save money. And so sometimes, while saving is obviously enormously important, so is replacing your roof. And so I'm opting for the let's replace our roof because we have a very comfortable balance in our savings account.
Ms. Fiedler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Fiedler, District 5. So reflecting on the past year and the economy, I certainly don't want to set a precedent that we as a county will invest not anticipating or preparing for a catastrophic event with the mindset that, oh, the federal government is going to come in and save the day. I think had it not been for all of the grant funding that came from the federal government and the state, this county would be underwater. So I am comfortable putting this minimal amount towards the rainy day fund. I understand there may be a difference of approaches, but that is why I support this amendment and am a co-sponsor on it. So thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 150.
Ms. Rodvian.
Nay.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Nay.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Nay.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Nay.
3 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. Amendment number 150 has been defeated.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I believe we would be ready for the final reading and vote. Am I correct? Okay. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 3221 as amended.
Bill number 3221, an ordinance concerning annual budget and appropriation ordinance of Arundel County.
Is there any further discussion? Mr. Pruski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a few comments, Councilman Andrew Pruski. First of all, Ms. Belair, this was her first budget as our county auditor. Her entire team emailed both late night and responded to every single question that I sent in. So I want to thank her for her commitment. And also Ms. Corby and Ms. Schultz behind the scenes. I have to commend you on the Excel spreadsheets that kept in order. I believe it was Mr. Volkey that I communicated with, that your organization was tremendous. I've never seen that. I've been on the council obviously for 7 years and have seen a lot of documents. We'll say both Democrat, Republican people had issues. It doesn't matter, but thank you again for that. Just speaking quickly though on the budget, I'll be very brief. Besides the folks that put in the time, you know, as I've been involved with county budgets for about 25 years as an association president, all the way through the various activities. And I have to say that this is probably one of the best ones that I've seen. And I say that because I think when we look at the OPEB retirement benefits, I remember 15 years ago, that was a raging concern by people about the fiscal position the county would have to be in for those benefits. So making a payment on that, being able to invest, obviously, in finding our bonds. And I hear this straw man argument that, and I've gotten a few emails on it, that our tax burden is you know the highest in the state, and I think we need to look at those facts that actually our property tax, our income tax is one of the lowest throughout all of the jurisdictions. And I don't know if any of you followed the other county budgets, but there are people that have had to raise fees and taxes tremendously. And I think the administration did very well with their presentation to see what's there. So I think it's important to look at the facts. Again, there's a lot of work. We all have disagreements, but overall, I think this is a great budget that invests in the future, provides balance for both our schools, our teachers, public safety. I could go on, but thank you for all the work. And last but not least, Mr. Trumbauer, you seem to be fit for this role because every time, again, I've contacted you, you had an answer with me in 5 minutes. So I appreciate the budget office, you know, being responsive. And I ask some tough questions too. The auditor knows that. You know, with trying to go through each one, and a lot of these are policy decisions, but I think overall we did a great job. So thank you, and I'll be supporting the budget and appreciate everybody's time, and hopefully we can move forward. Thank you.
Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jessica Hare, District 7. I'll try and keep this pretty brief since I know that we've discussed obviously individual amendments and then also the budget overall for 45 days now. I do want to definitely echo the sentiments of Mr. Pruski with respect to thanking Madam Secretary, Ms. Schultz, and Madam Auditor. I sent a lot of emails and a lot of questions and very much appreciated all of the diligence and the hard work that came from you all. So thank you very much on that front. With respect to the budget as a whole, obviously I come at it from a different aspect than Mr. Pruski does. You know, we took a look at what the Spending Affordability Committee recommended that we spend, and this budget exceeds that wildly. I think I agree with Councilwoman Fiedler that we are very fortunate that the federal government has given so much money, and that in any other year that would not have been the case, and we would be very much underwater. And looking at that, given the fact that we had a $25 million structural deficit last year, and even with the federal dollars, we still have a $20 million structural deficit in this budget, I can't support it. The overall growth of about 18% in the last 3 years to the county budget is just not sustainable. And for that reason, I will be voting against it.
Ms. Pickard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Allison Pickard, District 2. And I, again, want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues for the Budget Office, the Madam Auditor's Office, her staff, and of course, Ms. Corby and Ms. Schultz for keeping us all straight with your excellent organization. To get to the point, in our first budget, in the FY 2020 budget, at this point in time, I made a statement about no one's coming to save us. The buck stops at local government with so many issues. And we have, over the last 3 budgets, put this county in a very, very good fiscal position, including making it through a pandemic. And yes, we did have, as every other jurisdiction across the country has seen, federal rescue dollars, but the recurring expenses in this budget do not rely on federal dollars. So let's be clear when we talk about the increases that you see, when you shake out the $114 million fund balance that's being redeployed this year in one-time expenses, you really get to what the Spending Affordability Committee said we can tolerate, which is a 2% increase in expenses. So we got to tell the whole story when we talk about this budget. We need to tell the story of how we can now send a fire truck out to a rescue mission with 3 firefighters instead of 2. We're still behind many of our jurisdictions who have 4 and 5 firefighters on those trucks. There's those stories that create the narrative, the positive narrative of the investments that we've made in this county. We're able to tackle school construction at a greater clip, which is greatly appreciated in my area. But we have to talk about the investment. We've heard a lot of stories about maybe other counties hitting constant yield. Well, let me tell you, Harford County and Cecil County are still way above our property tax rate. So good. I'm glad they're able to manage at constant yield, but their property tax is still way above what we pay at 0.0933 or whatever it is now. So we have done, I think, a yeoman's job, not just this year, but over the last 3 years, of balancing the investment in this county and shoring up both our capital projects and investing in our human capital, raising teacher pay, police and fire pay, and getting this county back on track. So I want to just thank everybody. I will be in full support of this budget, and I look forward to every ribbon cutting that I attend, knowing that I actually voted for the last 3 budgets. Thank you.
Ms. Rodvian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lisa Rodvian, District 6. So I'm going to echo some of the thoughts that my colleagues have already shared. I am so impressed and so proud to be a part of this budget. I can't thank the county executive and the budget office and our auditor enough to help us reach this space. You know, I've heard criticism from my colleagues, and I read some criticism from my colleagues in the newspaper yesterday. But at the same time, I would say, please look at the reality. You know, we are still the 4th lowest income tax in the state. We're still the 7th lowest property tax in the state. When we entered office, our public schools had a $2 billion with a B, billion, more than a single year of our budget alone in backlog of capital projects. And things are getting fixed. We are building new high schools. We are fixing leaky roofs. We are getting parking lots that have been filled with potholes, dangerous to everyone who drives in them for years. And so I would ask my colleagues, what exactly would they, what exactly would they cut? Would they cut the new Community Services Bureau in our police department? Would they cut the new paramedic training? Would they cut the new 4 fire stations? Would they cut the 2 new sheriffs to monitor a growth in our court system? Would they cut the positions to fund that we have funded to increase the staffing for our growing Crofton High School? There's just so many wonderful things that we've been able to do with this budget with a very, very moderate increase that occurred exactly once. And in fact, I believe our property tax rate is down ever so slightly. So we're not even hedging upwards. Our county is growing. And so to expect that our revenue is going to stay flat, I think that would be mistaken. Our county is growing. More people live here, more people pay taxes. And that's a positive thing in terms of our budget. And we need to use it to serve people and not let our students go to school in overcrowded buildings with leaky roofs and roads with potholes. So these are positive things. So I would say if we've increased spending, that's fantastic. We've done it to serve, in service to the community that we were elected to serve. And therefore I'm very proud of what we've done. The things that we funded here, I think have been very universally supported in our budget town halls. And I look forward to voting for this budget. Again, 4th lowest in income tax, 7th lowest in property tax, and we've been able to do amazing things with that.
Mr. Volkey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nathan Volkey, District 3. Again, want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues related to the work that's been done by the council staff, Ms. Corby, Ms. Schultz, as well as the budget office, and Ms. Bolair and her department, and all that they've done. Really appreciate their work. And I agree that they have been extremely responsive, so I'm grateful for that. I am glad that some of my colleagues had the chance to see my op-ed that I wrote over the weekend, so I'm not going to rehash all of those points, but I think I've laid out pretty cogently my concerns with this budget. There's no need to sort of lay them out again. One thing I do want to note, because it has bothered me immensely this year, and it will continue to bother me, is the idea that we're not overrunning the property tax cap. So I have had discussions with the auditor about this, and I just want to put this on the record so that everyone understands when I say that we're going over the property tax cap again, this is what I mean, because a lot of people have said, well, the rate has gone down. The point is this: in the first year that we were in office in that budget, the county executive exceeded the property tax cap using the mechanism in state law that allows a county to exceed their property tax cap for the purpose of solely funding education, my understanding of the way that state law is written is that thereafter, if you are going to again exceed the property tax cap, all of the money has to go to education. I've yet to see an accounting from anyone in the county that shows that every single dollar that we are receiving over the property tax cap as it existed in FY20, every single one of those dollars has gone to education. And so that's a concern for me, because in the event that they're not, then we're violating state law. And that is the reason that we constantly keep going over the property tax cap, is for the funding of education. That's the only way you're allowed to do that. So I'd really like to see that analysis done, but I've yet to see it. So that's one of the big concerns that I have with this budget, is that we just aren't being totally clear and transparent about how the additional money is being spent. Other than that, I've highlighted my concerns about the number of new positions, the fact that this budget exceeds revenues by $114 million, that I cannot anticipate that next year's budget is going to go down. If it does, I'm really looking forward to that budget. But if that budget comes in at 1.876 billion in spending or more, then I'll have been right. And that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So I look forward to seeing next year's budget, but I hope it goes down. It would be a good thing. So with that, I will not be supporting this budget. I've laid out my reasons for why, but I do appreciate all the work that people have done to put into this budget. And thank you again.
Ms. Fiedler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Fiedler, District 5. I also want to echo the sentiments towards our staff and Mr. Trumbauer. I know we may be on different pages, but I do appreciate your willingness to always answer questions very quickly. Madam Auditor, Madam Secretary, Ms. Schultz, just fantastic. I love charts and I now love Google Files. So I want to go back and answer Ms. Rodvian's question about what would we cut. I just want to remind everyone that 20 amendments were introduced to make cuts. That's what we would cut. And there was not a single firefighter, teacher, or police officer proposed to be cut in this budget, which is the same for the past two budgets as far as amendments introduced by myself, Councilman Volkey, and Councilwoman Hare. So for the third year in a row, the county and the county's expenses are outpacing revenue. This budget increases and grows government while we are carrying a $20 million structural deficit, while going above the constant yield to increase revenue by $8 million. While there's a lot about this budget I do like and that I support, without the passage of a single amendment to reduce expenses, it is simply too much, in my opinion, and I will not be able to support this bill today. Thank you.
Anyone else? You all have said your piece. Well, as things stand, it's 3-3. And so Sarah Lacy, District 1, I'll make a brief comment first. Extensive thanks that have already been given to our staff, Ms. Corby and Ms. Schultz, and to all of our staff in the office, as well as Madam Auditor, congratulations on getting through your first budget. Who gets hired, 30 days before having to go into the budget process? You've done a phenomenal job, and as well as your staff. And of course, Mr. Trumbauer, you had a little more than 30 days to prepare for this budget, but still, it's your first running through as well. And so congratulations and kudos to all of you for the excellent work that you've done. I think the only thing I would add to what my colleagues, Ms. Rodvian and Ms. Pickard and Mr. Pruski have said is that I think this is a very responsible budget. And I know there were many comments around about May 1st when we started this process that were along the lines of, I don't know that there are major amendments to be made. I think I could pass this budget as it is. And of course, we found things to do, to tweak to it, to add to other priorities, and I don't think we found the cuts. If the four of us were agreeing on the cuts, we would have made them, but we didn't agree, and that's just our process, our democratic process. And so to me, this represents a good, not only a solid compromise, but a good framework for the coming year that also sets us up for further investments using the PAYGO money for future years, which means we don't have to take out as much in bonds. Bonds being debt, avoiding debt is a good idea. I think overall, this is a responsible product of a lot of people's hard work and fact-finding and judgment making, and I'm willing to accept that. So with that, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3221 as amended.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Nay.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Hey.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Nay.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
4 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. Bill number 3221 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. When you're ready, please read the title of bill number 3321 as amended.
Bill number 3321, an ordinance concerning tax levies, special community benefit districts, shore erosion control districts, and waterways improvement districts.
Mr. Trumbauer, any comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, County Budget Officer. No, this just sets those rates. Don't think there's any surprises in here, so we'd urge your favorable vote.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3321 as amended.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3321 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 3421.
Bill number 3421, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Arundel Gateway Special Taxing District.
Mr. Trumbauer, any comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. Now, for the remaining individual tax districts, I think I will preemptively say as advertised, and we would urge your favorable support, but nothing to note on the remaining special tax district bills.
Well, to save time, just call Madam Chair when you want to talk next time. I won't call on you. Anybody else? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3421.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3421 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 3521.
Bill number 3521, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Arundel Mills Special Taxing District.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3521.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3521 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 3621.
Bill number 3621, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Dorchester Special Taxing District.
Is there any discussion? I'll take just a brief moment. Sarah Lacy, District 1. The Dorchester Special Taxing District is a combination of several neighborhoods in Hanover near Arundel Mills, and I occasionally have gotten questions from constituents about why do we have this special taxing district bill? Why do we see special taxing district on our property tax bills? And it's because of when the infrastructure for your neighborhoods was built for the county. It relates to that, the bond, paying back the bonds that were issued back at that time. It's not something where we set some special separate tax rate, but it relates entirely to the infrastructure. So I'd like everyone to be sure that that's understood. Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3621.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3621 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read bill number 3721.
Bill number 3721, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Farmington Village Special Taxing District.
Any comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3721.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3721 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 3821.
Bill number 3821, an ordinance concerning tax levies, National Business Park Special Taxing District.
Any comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3821.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3821 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 3921.
Bill number 3921, an ordinance concerning tax levies, National Business Park North Special Taxing District.
Seeing no comments or flags, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 3921.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3921 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. When you're ready, please read bill number 4021.
Bill number 4021, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Two Rivers Special Taxing District.
Any comments, discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 4021.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 4021 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 4121.
Bill number 4121, an ordinance concerning tax levies, Village South at Wall Chapel Special Taxing District.
Any comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 4121.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 4121 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 4221.
Bill number 4221, an ordinance concerning finance, taxation, and budget, Arts Council of Anne Arundel County Special Revenue Fund, Annapolis and Anne Arundel County Conference and Visitors Bureau Special Revenue Fund.
Any comments? Discussion?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Turnbauer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this one is not a special district bill. This actually recognizes the legislation that the General Assembly passed, and now this will bring in the funding stream for the Visitor Bureau and the Arts Council into the county so that the county will have greater oversight. So this legislation actually sets up both of those special funds that will live within the CAO office.
Ms. Hare?
Mr. Turnbauer answered my question. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 4221.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 4221 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the title of bill number 4321.
Bill number 4321, an ordinance concerning public works, solid waste collection, solid waste service charge, solid waste landfill, and facility delivery fees.
Mr. Turnbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Romero, Budget Officer. As advertised, this sets the rates for the utility fees. I know there's been some discussion over the solid waste fee. There is an increase this year. I think several council members have asked for different rate model calculations, and we certainly provided those, but there really is no other way to make the solid waste utility fund work and be within our county policy of holding 10% reserves without the fee that is listed in this legislation. So nobody likes increasing a fee, but I'll remind the council that it's been static for 9 years, which is pretty extraordinary. So the cost of doing business has gone up, the cost of materials has gone up, the operations have gone up. Certainly the county population has increased. And so the administration is very proud that we were able to maintain that fee the same for 9 years. But now, unfortunately, there's no way to make the math work without this modest increase. So we'd ask for your support on this legislation. Thank you.
Mr. Volkey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nathan Volkey, District 3. Mr. Trumbauer, I'm not sure if you're the person to answer this question or not, but in light of all of the problems that I think many of us have been hearing about trash collection with the current vendors, I know the county exec put out a statement that he was looking to address that. And just kind of thinking about this increase, how does this help you or hurt in the ability to be able to, pick up the trash on time?
Thank you, Councilmember Chris Romero, Budget Officer. So I guess regardless of the contractors or the current situation, this is more of a macro look at the overall fund. And so as you referenced, the county exec and also the public works director, Mr. Phipps, have been working on this situation with the one particular vendor. I know there's been several meetings that I was not a part of last week, but overall on the budget side, we have different contractors and different waste collection zones, and this is factoring all of that in. So I can't speak to whether, well, let me say this. The situation that you're referencing, I think, is better handled with a conversation with the DPW director than within budget. We're simply making sure the county has the adequate funding to pay for the contractor needs to keep picking up trash and recycling.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 4321.
Ms. Radvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Nay.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Nay.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Nay.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
4 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. Bill number 4321 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 4421.
Bill number 4421, an ordinance concerning property tax and semi-annual payment service charge.
Mr. Trumbauer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trumbauer, Budget Officer. I think we've talked a lot about the tax rates, but I'll just remind everyone that the budget that you all just passed keeps the income tax rate unchanged at 2.81%, and it does have a nominal decrease in the property tax rate of 0.1 penny if you're keeping track, but that is in accordance with the county's tax revenue cap in the charter, and we would ask for your support, especially since you all just passed the budget. We need to pass this or everything's out of whack. So strongly urge your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions? Okay, I'm really surprised, but I'll go first and I'll offer one. Sarah Lacy, District 1. I think I want to go back to my colleague, Mr. Volkey's comment about questioning the legality of keeping it's not the property tax rate, but the revenue cap, and then sort of maintaining the revenue from year to year. Basically, the idea that if you had gone through the cap to pay for improvements in education for 1 year, that it shouldn't be legal to continue to go through a cap in future years. And I don't think that that's a correct understanding of the law. Of course, we don't have all of our legal advisors here, but I think for one, if it was an issue, it would have come up a couple of years ago and we would have not done what we were able to do. But for two, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't pass the foundational test of the idea being you need to set your property tax rate in this county based on your needs. That's what our charter requires us to do. And when we need to be spending more on education, the state says that we need to make that happen and gives us a mechanism. So I have no qualms at all about the legality of voting for the particular property tax rate that's in this bill. I think it's just funding responsible government that's based on the hundreds of hours that we've already put in to build and vet this budget. Anyone else have a comment? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 4421.
Ms. Radvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Nay.
Ms. Pickard,
Aye.
Mr. Volkey,
Nay.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Nay.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
4 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. Bill number 4421 is passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Is there any other business to be brought before the County Council at this time?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Trumbauer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You all were able to say your versions of appreciation and thanks to the staff. So I wanted to add mine on behalf of the budget team. And I want to start by thanking the budget analysts or budgeteers, as we like to refer to them. This was, in my mind, the process was the best that I've been a part of. And I'm not saying that just as my new role in budget officer, but prior to that as well. And I'd like to particularly congratulate Auditor Michelle did a great job. I think you and your team worked very well with the budget team. And I'm also just happy with the overall communication and back and forth between council members. And I want to say my last thank you for Laura and Kaylee on the council staff. If you think about it, all three kind of big positions were all new. All of us, this is our first year. And, we had our discussions and policy disagreements and all of that, but the process, I think, worked very smoothly. And so I'd like to just take a personal moment of privilege to thank Michelle and Laura and Kaylee for working together so smoothly. The fact that we started everything on time and that it looks like we're about to adjourn before 11 a.m. on budget day, I think speaks for itself. So let's hope that this continues and that this is the new normal going forward in the budget process. I, for one, certainly appreciate it. So thanks to all council, thanks to all the people behind the scenes that made this last 45 days possible. And I will say, speaking for the administration, we're very proud of the budget we introduced on April 30th, but we believe the council made it better. And we thank you for that. So thanks for everything.
Thank you, Mr. Trumbauer. Ms. Rodvian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I apologize for neglecting to mention this before in the category of thank yous. Obviously, this is putting together a budget it started months and months ago, has taken dozens, probably hundreds of people across the county staff. But one that I wanted to make sure we recognized was the Office of Information Technology, who has been quietly working in the background to make sure that we show up on the screen and are able to communicate with each other in these unusual times while we're, at the last of COVID and our chambers are still under the final stages of their reconstruction. So thank you to the Office of OIT and everybody in the Arundel TV family, and just thank you for getting us through.
I echo that excellent comment. Where did you go? Madam Auditor. Oh, there you are. You moved on my screen right as I was going to call you, like you disappeared.
Oh, Michelle Belair, County Auditor. I'll just take the same matter of personal privilege, I guess, that Chris said, to thank my team and also to thank the budget office and working with Laura and Kaylee. I think that, we're all learning, but there were so many parts of the process that went very smoothly. And I just wanted to take an extra opportunity to say that I couldn't have done it without my team working diligently behind the scenes. So thank you to everyone.
Anyone else? Any final comments? It's not yet 11 o'clock. All right. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Allison Pickard.
And a second?
Rodvian second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. The County Council is adjourned until 6 p.m. on Monday, June 21st, 2021. Take care. Happy Father's Day.